Then there was another question on why this banding is skewed towards band 4 and 5. Honorable Speaker, without reliable data on income, it is very difficult for us to use income precisely to predict for the time being. However, I want to say, Honorable Speaker, that I have data here. I have data here from the National Examination Council for the results of the students who are now joining university. And according to this data, 84.8% of the students who scored C+ and above, 84.8% of the students who scored C+ and above studied in national schools. So we can see that actually this admission is skewed towards national schools. Honorable Speaker, in these national schools, the students were paying 53,000 minimum. We also know that there are other levies. Some of these students also studied in private schools. So it may be very unfortunate, but it is indeed the reality of our circumstances that the students from sub-county schools, the students from county schools and extra county school are disproportionately represented in our universities. And so when we use the secondary school that a student went to as an indicator, and the students went to national schools, and they have not demonstrated that they were funded through Harambes, or they had a guardian or bursaries, then it becomes very difficult for us not to discriminate, not to use that variable as a discriminator. However, this is what then opens the opportunity for appeal, so that with more information, we can then correctly classify these students. And this will also include visiting some sampled students in their homes. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker.
Yes, Owen.
My point of order is this, Honorable Speaker. The principle should be everybody is poor unless proved rich. Not the other way. They are saying everybody is rich until they prove that he is poor. This is Kenya. We know the income levels. Very few people go to 120,000. Very few people, 50, 60. Honorable Speaker, so they need to change the principle. Then we will save Kenyan youth.
Yes,
thank you.
Yes, Minority Whip. Just press the button and it will come on. Look for the next.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to appeal to the ministry that their presumption is actually extremely defective. Even as we speak now, I have a student from my constituency who's just finished in Alliance with a balance of 94,000 Kenya shillings because it's CDF that has paid for her from Form 1 to Form 4. Most of our students from our constituencies are actually being paid for by CDF. That's why they're in those national schools. So if you can actually, and I addressed that issue earlier, and I would request them to relook at it. The issue the school somebody attended is very misleading. Because most of us are in WhatsApp group fundraising, parents sacrifice to even do those fundraisers so that kids can go to good school for a better life. Not that they can afford it. So can you please relook, because it's very misleading, the issue of those schools.
What you probably should do before we go to the next round, I thought I had the Monari say they have opened a desk at each university. Upon reporting, if the data you put in, because you know, the assessment is based on self-generated data. So if you put in data based on erroneous facts or misapprehension of facts or total misunderstanding, then advise students in your constituencies that upon reporting the university, they go to that desk, and I hope that desk is there, and explain that I went to a national school in Alliance or Kamsinga, not because I was rich, but because I passed well at standard 8 or 7, standard 8, and the bursaries from the CDF paid my fees all through. So my parents have nothing. But you are assessing me because I went to a national school where we pay so much, which was not my money, was not my parents' money, was from a public kitty. So also advise students when they report to go to those desks and make those clarifications so that the data available on them is then adjusted to the reality. Yes, let's take another 4. Yes. Let me start with Daoud.
Mr. Speaker, please. Mr. Speaker, front face of you.
Order, honorable members, no soliciting. No soliciting. I know all of you. Oundo, Pareo,
Honestly.
and